on that side, on the right side.
Put it on the screen. Ta-da! Right, I'm gonna. Why is that looking? Pretty. Oh, got some feedback. So much. I have feedback. Can you hear it? Who's here? It's Deb Jones. You have feedback?
Hey there. Can you hear me? Oh,
Hey, baby, can you hear me?
yes, I can hear you. I'll put you on mute though because of my headphones and my dog keep barking.
Okay. Well, as long as. Hey, Addie Sundry.
Hello.
Hi, honey.
How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
Deb, I'm good.
You look amazing.
Pardon?
You look amazing.
Oh, thank you. I'm doing good.
You are looking good, honey. There's some things.
Thank you. Thank you. I may not be able to stay for the whole thing today. I have a friend looking after my truck, and he's going to come back, and we're going to discuss the farm, because he's going to perhaps buy the farm, and I'm going to stay in the house. So I don't have to move.
I'm
good.
loving this.
Yeah,
Yes.
things are going good for me.
Oh my gosh, honey,
There.
I could not be more delighted for you. Seriously, you. Oh my gosh.
Completely missed last month's meditation. My mind was just scattered, and I realized later that day that I missed seeing y'all. So I'm glad I remembered today.
Awesome. Well,
How's everybody doing?
Well,
wow,
You
I
guys
think
are good?
Yeah, and I'm just seeing on the screen we've got Amanda joining us, which is yay, Amanda! Amanda in the house.
Hello.
Hey, how are you doing?
Tired. I'm tired. It's a busy time of year with Oscar, and there's been lots going on. So I'm in my onesie. I'm hiding in his room. I'm ready for the meditation.
Yay, onesie time's my favorite. Got out of mine this morning. I get up and put mine on, so I love being able to be in my onesie, and we're super delighted that you're here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the chatting to a minimum at the beginning today and going forward, so that anyone who's joining us and wanting to do the meditation can do that, and then we can chat and catch up at the other side. So that's what we're going to do. And today we're doing a meditation to prepare ourselves for the new year. But you know, what does that mean even anyway? Like, we have this whole freaking thing about this new year. We go to sleep on December 31st and we wake up on January 1st, and it's just another day. It is literally just another day. This is no big parade for us. There's no big, but we have this, then we put all of this energy into that. And I was just thinking about that this morning. If we think about energy fields, right? We all know we're part of energy and everything is energy. That is the fucking busiest time of the year. Like, everybody's putting that energy out there at January 1. They're going to make all these changes. The universe is like heavily engaged. She's very busy, right? So it's perhaps not the best time to do these things. And to realize that now is the best time to do these things. Whenever now is. If that's January 1st, if that's December 15th, whatever date it is, that now is the best time. Because first of all, we may not have New Year, right? Because it's in the future. So we don't know that. And what we have is now. So we're often in the future planning, going, oh yeah, I'm stuffing my mouth. This is me. I know this because I've been doing it for so long. Stuffing my mouth while I'm planning on not doing that at the new year, because something magical is going to happen at the new year. Whereas the reality of the new year often is the holidays are now over. For many of us, it's deep in winter. We don't have as much money as we thought we had. We overspent. We overdid everything. And now it's fucking January. And we're supposed to make change. I want to make change. I want to stay in my comfort zone, because even that's uncomfortable, right? So today that's what we're going to be sitting with. And also the fact of the reason we do many of these things is we're trying to get away from ourselves and our situation. And what we realize, and we've been on the path for a while, is wherever we go, there we are, right? So again, that's coming back to being here and being now and not having the mind out there. Because if we take care of the now, then the future is going to take care of itself, right? Because now is the future. Right? So the future only is now, this very moment. Our history, we can't rewrite. But we can rewrite our history going forward. So today, if we start doing something today or stop doing something today, in a year, 5 years, 10 years, our history will be that yes, we did X until then, but at this point, we stopped doing it. This is now rewriting our history. We rewrite our history today. But we don't harvest a seed the day that it was planted. So we do all of this and we don't see the results, and we don't see the, you know, we're putting in all this work and quite often we're not seeing the results. But the magic is happening because we're doing the work, and then we get to see the results. And it may be some seeds we put in and they come up like that. You know, you think of doing your watercress with your kids and stuff. You know, you put a seed down, and woof, there's your watercress growing. Like it's amazing, and you can eat it super quick. And then there's the bamboo that takes 5 years, and it takes 5 years of cultivating, and you see nothing. And then in something like 6 months, it grows 10 feet. That's so often, that's for us. Those are the things that we're trying to change, and that every year we're working on. And I think about Get Your Happy Back, where we work on our habits. And we're going to really be talking about this in Get Your Happy Back in 2020. We're going to have live calls. So Amanda, you're going to be super stoked about that. We're going to have webinars in there. We're going to be really active in that 40 days. But we're going to be looking at more than this up here, this mundane, this stuff that we think we need to be concentrating on and we're distracted by, when really it's here. So a lot of the theme is going to be about investigating, what does it mean that the teacher, what does the teacher within really mean? We talk about this. We say we're the wisdom ones, but what does it mean? And how do we apply that? And how do we get rid of the stuff that's holding us back and clogging up the channels? And how do we get more life force and more power into those channels? So that's going to be the investigation. And this is where we're going to start. And we have to start with ourselves, right? So there's going to be parts of the meditation where we're going to be quieter, and then there's going to be parts where we're going to be a little bit more guided, and we're just going to go with it. But it's all about trying, just setting a new intention and then being with that. Make sense? Okay. Karen is in the house. I just want to say hi to Karen. This is lovely. I'm so happy that we managed to open up the call. And just to let everybody know on the call, you all know that some of you are in Angels 11, so you're part of this monthly meditation. And then others may be visiting either from Get Your Happy Back or from I opened it up to Facebook as well. And we will be posting the recording. So I hope everybody's cool with that. Don't share anything you don't want to share, that you don't want to know. But we're trying, you know, this is all about bringing us, today's call as well was about bringing the communities together and bringing our communities together so we can all get together. And now we're going to stop talking, tune in, and see what happens. All right? All right. Okay. So just closing your eyes as you come into a comfortable position. And let's mute, everybody mute yourselves. There we go. And as you close our eyes, whether you're seated in a chair or whether you're seated on the ground, doesn't matter. None of this matters. What matters is where your mind's at. That's where we're going. So keeping the eyes closed, relax in the body as you start to kind of feel into where you're at with your body today and where it's at with you. I can feel in the crease of my hips on my left side, there's a little like feeling there, kind of, ow. Just breathing life into that, acknowledging it, no judgment, it's just where you are today. Just taking stock so that change doesn't keep happening and one day you wake up and say, how did I get here? How did this leg stop working? Settling in, visualizing from the sacrum that you have these roots going down into the earth. You are grounded, you are supported, you are part of the whole. And as you're breathing in, raising the crown up towards the sky, creating space, not only between the discs in the vertebrae physically, but within the energetic channels, allowing those channels to straighten up, to open up, and allow that Kundalini to rise. It's within each of us. The Kundalini, the dormant potential that is waiting for us to unlock it. And often all that means is making space for it to come. And with that, let's rub the palms of our hands together to tune in. Eyes are closed, breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the nose. You know the drill. Relaxing the shoulders away from the ears as you bring the thumbs into the sternum. Inhaling, relaxing the shoulders away, pressing the palms together. Exhaling, allowing the chin to come down, just like in towards the neck and the chest. Back of the neck nice and long, Jalahandra band. Breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the nose, calming everything down. And we're going to inhale to tune in. Om. Lifting the chest, relaxing the shoulders away from the ears, breath suspended, eyes closed. Exhale slowly. Swallow if you need to. We're going to add Name. Let's inhale to begin. Name, Name, Sat Name, Studio Name. Name, Name, Sat Name, Studio Name. Name, Name, Sat Name, Studio Name. Inhale deeply. Suspending the breath, relaxing the palm from the upper palate. Eyes are closed, focus at the third eye. Looking in and up, shoulders relaxed away from the ears, chest lifted. Exhale slowly. And breathe. And as you're sitting in this space right now, 3 minutes ago we were just talking, our eyes closed, having just tuned in, and already it is a quieter place. This place is always available to us, no matter what chaos is going on outside of us, no matter what noise is happening. It doesn't have to be quiet on the outside for us to get quiet on the inside. And sometimes it's as simple as tuning in. And keeping the eyes closed, bring the hands into a comfortable position for you. Be that rested on your knees, palms facing up in Gyan Mudra. You could be still saying in prayer pose, saying a prayer to yourself. It is up to you. And just starting to, as we start this meditation, we're going to start right with the breath. We're going to catch that inhale and the exhale. It normally goes on without us even having any part of it. We don't have to do anything right now, but just observe the body as we inhale through the nose, as we exhale through the nose. The feeling of the breath coming in, slightly cool, as it travels through the body, into the belly, filling you up all the way from the belly to the diaphragm to the clavicle very easily. Then exhaling and feeling it at the top of the lip as a slightly warmer air comes out. The life force that keeps the body going. You can look after everything else, but without the breath, there is no more body. So it's a good place to start. We want to know where we're at. Just close your eyes and see where your breath is. Deep when you're contented, short when you're anxious. Remember that even though you don't need to tell your body to breathe, you can remind it to breathe in a different way. So when you find that it's short, you can just breathe a little deeper. Guide the body to a little more peace. Keeping the eyes closed can help. Taking away that external stimulation and distraction, you may still be able to hear it, but recognizing that the quiet room is not the one that you're sitting in, but the one that's inside of you. And you can go to your quiet room anytime. And still the belly rises and falls as you inhale and exhale. The body's calm and quiet. Have a little scan to see where the aches and pains are. Breathe a little deeper into that place. Start to recognize where your thoughts want to go when there's nothing to listen to but your breath, without judgment. You have 1,000 thoughts per wink of the eye. Of course, there's stuff going on in there when you stop and look. What we forget is that that stuff is going on in there even when we're not looking. It can be quite shocking to look and see it all going on. Maybe at 3 o'clock in the morning when you wake up and your mind is racing and you wonder, where did this come from? It was there at noon, it was there at 9 a.m., it was there at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You were just somewhere else. It's not a bad thing having a mind full of thoughts. It's human nature. But we can clean them up. We can not get distracted by them. We don't have to spend time with them or get pulled by them. But that is the natural instinct. Sometimes we can be going along feeling just fine. And then something maybe as simple as someone looking at us a certain way or speaking to us a certain way or receiving a certain piece of news, and all of a sudden we're all over the place. And it doesn't have to be big, it can be something small. Even last week, there I was, I decided it was going to be a good day. Those customers, they weren't going to get me down. I was going to do it today. And off I went. And then I got a text, and I got a phone call. Off I was astray until I kind of realized and brought myself back. And that's the practice. It's not about being astray. We are going to go astray. It's about bringing ourselves back. It's about coaxing the mind back, having the compassion to bring it back without judgment, without feeling bad. Where does your mind go when there's nothing to listen to? Venerable Rabina Curtin calls it a big soup inside of us. These feelings and emotions and habits and all that stuff. And we want to be better, right? Always wanting to be better in some way. The problem is we don't know really what's inside of us, and all those flavors in that soup have all mingled together, so we're not quite sure which one we need less of. And that's where the work begins, by just looking at the mind in these quiet moments and seeing what's going on and becoming a little more familiar with it, so that it's not so shocking in the quiet moments of the night when the mind is racing. All those things you think are a part of you, those habits, are things that you have picked up and become good at. That is what a habit is. It's something you do a lot and you're good at it. You've become good at it because you do it a lot. If we're learning to play the piano, we're quite happy to say, I'm good at piano because I've practiced it, Rabina says. However, if one asks, why are you angry? You might turn and say, my parents were angry, this happened to me, or that happened to me. Sure, those conditions might make us feel unhappy. However, the issue, she says, is our anger. We can't do anything about the other's behavior, though that is often where we will look. But we can look at our anger and where that comes from and how that is triggered. And we can take responsibility for the fact that we get angry because it is something we're good at and it is something we are choosing to do. We can therefore choose not to do it and become good at not being angry. But it starts with us taking responsibility that it's not someone else's fault. And what is fault anyway? We're not looking for fault here. We just want to see where the weeds are. And we just want to start weeding the garden and cultivating the flowers. And that is going to be the word for 2020. And should you choose to take it, you may have it too. Cultivate. You see, you think you have to do things or not do things. What if it was just a simple matter of cultivation? You either cultivate something or you don't. When you don't cultivate something, it dies. So if we don't cultivate those habits, they should die off. And if we do cultivate the habits we want, then they should flourish. It's a beautiful thing. So we don't have to do anything in order to be better. We just have to sharpen our cultivation skills. We can do that. That is the beautiful thing. Yes, you are responsible for all of it, for all the things that you think someone else is. The good news that goes with that is you too are responsible for being able to change it. This is a beautiful thing. And it starts and it ends with the mind. Who are you when you stop looking outside for blame and fault and start to look inside to say, what is this inside of me? How am I cultivating it? And what can I do differently? There's the train. See, all kinds of things going on all around us. Still, we can continue with that inquiry. How do you really want to feel when you wake up in the morning, when you go to bed at night? What is it that you want to feel? Can you put a word to it? I know for me, I chased many things, but ultimately it was peace. It was kind of lack of conflict. I hate conflict. I just wanted a lack of conflict inside of myself. I remember hearing a Leona Ness song, and said she just wanted to feel safe in her own skin. And it shook me to my core. Because, yes, I just wanted to feel safe in my own skin. What a weird concept. Why wouldn't we be safe in our own skin? And yet for most of us, that's how it feels. There's a battleground going on inside. And we feel wrong and we feel different for it. And perhaps really, that's just the opportunity, the teacher, that allows us to see what's really there. So those customers I was talking about, I go in when I go to work and see, how loving, compassionate am I? And it turns out not quite as much as I might like to think. Thank you, teachers, for letting me see what is inside of me. We can start to look at life as more of a playground to put our lessons into practice, to test them out, right? We can be loving and compassionate with those we like. We can do it with those we think that deserve it. That's easy. We can be happy and content when things are going our way. That's easy too. But those people who rub us the wrong way, who've hurt us deeply, who we just don't like we don't even know why, but we don't like them. Those situations, that's where our healing begins. Because when we can find love there, well, we can find love everywhere. And that is love. It is everywhere. And we think that we are very loving, but check it out and see in your own life. Do you love the people that you don't like, that have hurt you? And what if you can make those people your teacher? You see, our teacher is supposed to bring us up to our ego, confront us with our ego, and then open us up to infinity. We don't get there by taking the easy lessons. We get there by getting rubbed the wrong way. So that, as Rumi would say, we become polished. So all those rubs, all those people that you don't like, they are rubbing you and polishing you. And it's all inside of you. It's inside of you and me and everybody. We've all got it. But we get distracted. We think we're human beings here for a little bit of a spiritual experience instead of spiritual beings here for the human experience. But that's okay. We can remember what we forgot. You're more powerful than you even know. And so in setting our intentions for 2020, let's set the intention to cultivate. Let that be the intention that we leave our meditation today with when we get up and go back into the world around us. That we look around and first we take inventory. Where are we cultivating? What are we cultivating? How are we cultivating it? Is this what we want to cultivate? Is it aligned with what we think we want? So often we think we want X, yet we're cultivating numbers, not even letters, right? There are no answers, but there are lots of questions. And in the questions come the answers. And in the quiet space, in that room within, the questions let themselves be heard. They're very quiet. But once heard, well, never forgotten. You seek so much on the outside, but if you dig deep right now and look inside, this feeling you have right now, isn't that it? You've given yourself the gift of this time. It's perhaps one of the best gifts you can give to yourself and to those around you. In changing yourself and sitting here, you're helping change the world. That's big news. And no matter how long you go away and don't come to your practice, it's always here. And the more you come to it, the more it will give back to you. But it will never punish you for being away. It will always welcome you with open arms when you want to come back. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be a certain way. You just have to find the quiet. Think back to the beginning of this year or this time last year, all the things that you were saying were going to happen this year, all the things you were going to do, the things you were going to stop doing, the things you might like to do. How far did you get? If you got through that list, well done. Keep it up. Keep doing what you did last year. That's awesome. But if you didn't, or maybe you want to do something different this year. The very definition of insanity, doing the same thing and expecting a different result. So do something different, get something different. Or maybe just stop doing something. Don't do it. What if you make kindness your new currency? The world is lacking in kindness. People are hurried and stressed, and they're not the best versions of themselves. So what if we can each go out and be an army of kindness? And give the kindness to the people who might look like they least deserve it, because perhaps they are the ones that most need it. And sometimes that includes ourselves. And if you're sitting, just check in your posture. Sitting up nice and tall. Where does your mind go when there's nothing to listen to? Just dropping the chin down a little towards the chest, lengthening the back of the neck. And feeling the belly rising and falling back to the breath where we began. And take another few breaths here before we take long time sun. And let's inhale to begin long time sun. May the long time sun shine upon you. Oh, love surround and the pure light guide your way, guide your way, guide your way on. We give gratitude and blessings to be able to practice and share these teachings across continents and oceans and sometimes just down the road. May the benefit of this practice be dedicated to all sentient beings. May we all know peace, love, and harmony. May all beings be free. Satnam. Yeah, you can unmute yourselves. There we go. How are we all doing?
I'm doing wonderful. I just love listening to you.
Thank you, honey.
Thank you. I feel like
Me too, actually. So,
it's in my pocket.
oh, I don't have mine, but yeah. Yeah.
Just incredible, Shiv. You and Samaj, I'm so happy that I've found you.
Well, we're not Mirrors without you, babe. So it's all of us coming together, and
It's just this whole community. Deb's not muted.
Deb, unmute yourself. Add your sundries.
Unmute yourself.
I'm going to the Hare Krishna temple this afternoon. I've got all tears down my eyes. You people. How you doing, doll?
I agree. Yep. I agree with you guys.
Isn't she incredible?
I feel the same way. Just yes, you said it. You said it. All those things that she was saying, it was like, whoosh. Yeah. I don't have the words.
That's good. It's the words that confound us, you know, and it's the feelings that will take us there. So when we drop in, there are no words there, right? So there's no words inside of us. That's the outside. And when we use those words, when I use one word and you use one word, I might mean something different to you. That's why we, you know, so inside there is, when we get to that level with one another, that place of communication, there's no words there. That's what brings this, like, us together, this small community, and it blows my mind all the time with you guys and with the seniors, that we think of change being this big thing, you know, and really what happens is when two people get together, or three people get together, or four people, it's when people get together, you know, outside of going to a bar or going for just for this purpose, you know. And then we go, we're not alone, we're not freaky deeks, or we are freaky deeks, we're freaky deeks together.
Freaky deeks.
Yeah, yeah, at least we like get our freak flag and fly it. Whereas the rest of society is telling us not to. So I think there's this, and we all, there's no part greater than the whole. That this can only exist because we're all here, you know?
I just started realizing what the teacher within really means. You know, I always hear you saying that, the whole teacher, and when you do, yeah, I think I'm finally getting what that is.
I said those same words this morning to someone. I was like, you know, I'm thinking about this teacher within. And so that was all, because there's one of the things that I really loved about the Buddhist teachings when I first came to them was that this is all, we are prepackaged. We come with all of this. We choose these parents. We come to them. We don't get anything from them necessarily. There's environmental stuff, but it's us. We're responsible. But then we're also responsible for the good. So, and so we can change it, you know. I don't know what else I wrote down on my notes this morning. Well, that's just, I think we might have the name of the book. I've got some bad interference. I'm not sure where it's coming from. The name for the book may be Tag You're It.
Oh, good.
Right? And that's it. Once we realize we're running around trying to tag someone, it's over here, it's over that, but really it's us. And so yeah, what did listening to the teacher, I said that's what I said. I was just making some quick notes this morning. You know, and then in cultivating, we're talking about cultivating, one of the easiest ways to practice is the people that displease us. Like, they are just fodder for the practice. So all the situations we don't like, the people we don't like, they are just like super duper manure for our development, right? So we can look at them and we can be like, when I can cultivate love for you, when I can be at ease with this, well, fuck, then I'm getting somewhere, right? And so that's the work. And oftentimes it's like that planting that seed. We're not going to see the results. We're not going to see, that person's not going to turn around and say, thank you for letting me go. But you're going to thank yourself for letting them go.
Yeah.
Right? And I have someone that I'm working with, this has been 5 years now. 2 years ago, I left her on Instagram somewhere and haven't looked at her profile or anything. But it's like, you know, I'm human. I'm still there, and I think about it, I can feel these feelings. But they're a lot less than they used to be, and I'm not so, they don't eat at me. But these things eat away at us. And so unnecessary. Because, like, she doesn't even care, you know? I remember Oprah telling this same story about someone, she had something with like 15 years ago, and she pulls up at Tiffany's, and this person's getting into her Rolls Royce as Oprah pulls up in hers, and Oprah's just like, ah! You know, filled with that. And she said, then she sees the woman, she's just going about her business. Like, she didn't even think about it, you know, but she's been carrying this around with her. I didn't even listen to Oprah that much, but I remember that one. So we can do that. So if we're talking about cultivating, if we're talking about what we want to be in 2020, why wouldn't it be? At the end of 2020, I'd like to be a kinder, wiser, more compassionate person. And the wiser being wiser about myself, not about all the external stuff. So I'd like to be kinder to myself and others, especially those that displease me. And I would like to be wiser about myself. I'd like to do more inquiry and get into those dirty places, you know. And Buddhist teachers will always tell us that when we start our practice, it gets worse, because then we actually get to see what's in there, right? And we go, I don't know that this is good, because I don't know, you know. Can we be more compassionate? Wouldn't those be nice goals for 2020? And forget the rest. Like, if you got those three going, like, what's the rest doing? And that's not to discount things like obviously health issues and things, and it's not to say that things that displease us, we just instantly go, oh, that no longer displeases me. No, of course it does. Mm-hmm. How do you work through it? Where do you turn? What tools do you go in your toolbox and get out and go, okay, I need to do this thing right now, right? So it's going to hurt still, but I can ease my way through. Like, we're not saying this is where our suffering comes from. Our suffering comes from not wanting to suffer, right? So, okay, we're going to suffer. We accept that. But then we try to minimize our suffering over our suffering. When oftentimes our reactions, what we do, the things that we do, exacerbate it. The ways we try to find comfort exacerbate the original condition, right? Because we find comfort in all the wrong places, because we're not really sure why it's hurting us. That's the inquiry back into the mind. We have to keep coming back. We keep going out there, and then we have to keep going back into the mind, back into the mind. Is it easy? You know, Rabina tells the story of, can we mute us? Can everybody mute for a moment and see if that will stop? Does anyone else hear the interference, or is it just me?
I don't hear anything.
Do you hear it, Deb? Oh, do you hear it?
Mhm.
Oh, now it stopped. Okay.
Somebody.
Okay, that's cool. So, okay. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, so Rabina tells the story of how did she become so she's a Buddhist nun that actually inspired me 20 years ago when I was taking my vows and going to become a Buddhist nun. And I met her at the Dalai Lama's teachings. She's like 4'9" Australian, and she's feisty as hell. And she's a Buddhist nun, so she's not exactly what you expect from a Buddhist nun. But the ways that she got there was very similar to me. As a child, she really loved God and wanted to be a priest, not understanding that she couldn't be a priest. And she tells the story of, you know, crying when her mum at 12 years old wouldn't let her become a nun, and then her mum crying 20 years later when she told her that she was going to become a Buddhist nun. But in the meantime, she got involved in, so she was in a Catholic church, so all the non-Catholics were the problem. And then I think that she got into some kind of politics, and so and then into black politics, and then all the white people were the problem, and then she got into feminism, and all the straight people were the problem, and then she kind of ran out of people to be the problem with. And at about 30, she ran into two Buddhist monks, Lama Zopa and Lama Yeshe, who became her teachers and who have been my teachers. And they said, hey, well, you know, there's all that stuff, but how about you look at your mind? And she says 30 years later, 40 years later, she's still doing that, right? So no easy work. This is not like, we're not going to be enlightened tomorrow if we do this. And this time next year, we're not going to be, you know, like 100% wiser. But with the little work that we do, like in our garden, will pay off. So that's what it's about, cultivation, right? What we're cultivating, what we're not cultivating. And coming in, it doesn't matter what's going on outside, that has an impact and we can acknowledge it, but how do we deal with it? So I think that's it for that. And that's about, so just quickly, we are going to be, for those of you in Get Your Happy Back, we're going to be starting calls. There's going to be at least 2 calls a practice every 40-day session in there, and having a theme. We told you guys last month that the funding has, in fact, we received some funding for our senior program, and now we have to work on leveraging that funding as well. So anybody who's watching this video who's not an angel and would like to be an angel, you can do that on Patreon at patreon.com/holla. $11 a month, and you be part of this live monthly meditation with classes as well, next level Kundalini classes. And my angels, I know we owe you some classes. Good news, we are going to Mexico. Didn't that come out of nowhere? Look at us all, like 2 months ago, everyone, Alessandra, you and I were just, you know, bit in pieces about some things, and things are looking up a little now. So our focus in Mexico will be next level Kundalini videos, and we're really looking forward to doing that. We'll be doing some sunrise ones on the ocean. So last time we were just, you know, we shared the sunrise with you, but we're actually going to be doing some of the meditations from the sunrise, and we're going to be doing some series. So in 2020, Next Level is going to get some series. So we'll have a relationship series, we'll have a moon series. And so these will be practices that you can then, because you've got lots of practices already, but now you can have the ones for when it's this or whatever. So that will be what we're working on there. And yeah, I think that's, oh, and community classes. So this is very, very exciting. And I haven't decided the full extent how the community classes are going to happen, but where is that box? Here. Well,
I'm gonna take off, guys.
okay, love you. Bye-bye.
I
We love you. And I
love
want
you
to hear
too.
about the farm. We'll talk.
Let's talk. Yeah, it'd be nice to catch up.
Okay, will do. Love you, sweetheart.
you
Satnam,
all.
Alessandri.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Vietnam.
Satnam. The community classes are going to be, I must have, I don't know, 2,000-3,000 of these cards, all with stuff on them that are in all kinds of places. And so what we're going to do is literally sit in community class, and in one of them anyway, and we'll pick a card. So this card says, the wound is the place the light enters you. And that will be what we will talk about for that particular little class. And so there'll be random things. That is the theme of the community class. It is random, right? So who knows what information you need at what time and who it will serve, but we're going to, that's what we're going to be doing. And I think those are probably going to be offered through Patreon and at a kind of Netflix kind of level. So we want to have people be able to access it and be able to create community around it. So I will be deciding how that's going to be, but you'll hear about it. So I'm excited about the community classes because I've got some stuff that I wanted to share, and I think this will be a great way to share it. And very easy for me to do audio like that, and for us to communicate it and have some webinars like this. So, and then retreats. So that's the last part. So Kimberly, she's not here this time, but she was talking about us going to South Utah, which I think would be an amazing place for us together in 2020. So next is just to kind of drill down what's the best time of year for us all to be there, and then see who can come along. With more to come. I think that's about it. Now you can unmute yourselves, and if you've got anything to say before we wrap up, let's hear what it is.
I like the idea of the community classes. I mean, to be able to do what you know, to come in to do some more teaching, you know, I would be up for that too.
Yeah, yeah, I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be a good way for us to, you know, just to work on us being human beings, feeling our way on the damn planet, like just to get together, you know, just to have a place.
Yeah, that place to go for, like you said, where do you want to be is just what you're saying, just peace within your own skin. So
right, yeah, and I know that for myself in the journey, one of the hardest parts, you know, it was before we had Facebook and before we had like huge amount of internet and all of this stuff. So a little bit different, but just feeling so alone, you know, and that's the beauty of the technology now is that like we're sitting here. I mean, this is as close as we could be without being together in a damn room. Do you know what I mean? And so that's, I love that. You know, that when I sit and meditate with you all, I mean, I really feel like we're all sitting here. We are all, it's not a feeling. We are all sitting here meditating. You know, so yeah, so more of that, more of us being able to have a discourse and discussion about some things, and you know. So. Amanda, how you doing, doll?
Yep, and I'm saving those months for those retreats.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Amanda, how you doing, love?
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm really excited about all the things that you've just shared that you're doing, because like I know it's been a really hard time for you recently, and it makes me really happy to know that you've got these things moving forward. Yeah, it's been a really tough year for me. Like my word for this year was peace. I said, I want to find peace where I am. And I thought, I'm not going to set plans, because for the last 3 years, my health's got worse and worse and worse. And I've just felt miserable because I've not gone anywhere. I want to find peace where I am. And I'm so glad I chose that, because this year has really kicked me. But within, like, being thrown right into, like, I've pretty much been housebound for most of the year.
Right.
But in it, I have done so much, like, inner work, because I had no choice. I've just been sat there, you know, and made so much progress, like, emotionally. Physically, it's still got to catch up, but emotionally, you know, and it's been hard. So, like, realizing that I don't really fit in with my family. I've always been very different. I'm much more sensitive. A lot of my not being able to express myself and all these emotions in is because when I was a child, that's what was expected, and it's just all come to a head. So, like, there's been a lot going on. So, like, recently my uncle died, my grandma ended up in hospital. There's been lots of emotions going on, and my mum and dad aren't expressing their emotions, and I'm going, you need to do it, you need to get it out. And just been seen as, like, so, you know, we had the general election recently over here, and it's been very difficult having, like, I've campaigned so hard for other people. Like, I have that compassion because I've been there, you know. We've been thrown into poverty. We've had to go to tribunal twice for disability benefits. We've got another one coming up, and finding out that, like, my own father is, like, voting for more of the same, and realizing that, you know, I'm never going to get the love from them that I want from them. So having to try and find out how to love myself and be okay with what they can give me.
Yeah.
So there's been all these big things going on, and it's just, I'm so glad I chose the word peace, because if I hadn't chosen that, I'd have been all over the place, you know. It's been a tough one, really tough one. But that's why these things are so important and make such a big difference, because, like I said, I've been housebound, can't really go out,
Right.
but I can connect with you and meditate with you and feel part of that community, and it means a lot, and I really, really appreciate it. And like I say, really happy that you guys are, you know, doing all these wonderful things as well, because I've been thinking about you, because I know it's been hard for you as well.
Well, yeah. Well, thank you. I mean, that's it, right? It's like, it's challenging. Life is in different ways with different people at different times, and that's about, you know. And so we know how to do it well when things are going good, but where do we go when, you know, when we're feeling not so? And then that's other part of the community, is having a place that is not. So even if you go into the Facebook group, our Facebook group, all of your other friends and relatives and everybody, they're not on there, right? So it's a place where you can just be, you know, like, who you want to be in that group, and not come with all that additional baggage and stuff, and then be able to work through that as well. And I'm sure, you know, my parents are very conservative, and I actually was just writing about being an outsider. So I think it's a challenging place to be when we feel like we're outsiders, but it's where we choose to be as well. So we're in that, like, because we don't want to be an insider. We don't like what's inside. No. So that's why we are outsiders. So it's a very funny place to be. And so finding that equilibrium there, and I think that's another word, along with cultivation, peace, equilibrium. There's another word that can really help us. We think about balance, but that's more like balance is like this, and life isn't like this. Life's often like this, right? So how can we find an equilibrium when life is like this? How do we find, like, the middle path, as the Dalai Lama would say? So, and these are all of these themes, are all the themes that I want to share more of in 2020, and just have more classes around, and more discourse and discussion. So this community is definitely a two-way street. But it's so cool that we don't actually always have to be physically there, so we can do like this. Yes. And then we have Karen here as well. We haven't heard from Karen. Karen, are you here? Are you on the microphone? Are we speaking today? She might not want to speak, which is fine. You can always do it and speak. You guys can do whatever you like. So, is there anything else? So, so today we're off to the Hare Krishna temple in Laguna, and it pushes my boundaries a little because I don't know what I'm going to go. I don't know. Hare Krishna has always fascinated me, and I know that on Sundays they do a feast, so they do a satsang, kirtan and chanting and teaching, and then from like 5 to 7, and then they have a big community feast. And the big part of the Hare Krishna philosophy is this feast where they feed people, and very much like when I was doing my Kundalini teacher training, that the food is prepared, it's bhakti work, it's like your devotional work, it is. And they only prepare the highest quality food, and I was reading that they don't actually even taste the food because the food's offered to Krishna first, and so it should be untouched and brand new. So they like can smell there's enough salt and stuff. But they make food, it's not necessarily bland, but it's not super spicy because it's meant to calm the mind and not excite the tongue, right? Because we're trying to get into that sattvic place. So it's these little things. And I figured, Laguna Beach is really beautiful. So if I'm going to go to a Hare Krishna temple, why not? So that's where we're off to after this. And then I thought, well, it's quite a good day, isn't it? No matter how I'm feeling, I get to wake up and meditate with all of you and then go to the Hare Krishna Laguna Beach temple. Sweet. I will report back and let you all know how it was. Because I don't know, sometimes, like I'm a little freaky deaky weirdo, but then sometimes people are like, just different. So I don't know. I'm going to go and see. So I think that's about it. Does anyone have anything else they want to say before we wrap up? And just to remind you, and everyone's still cool with us posting this, right? So I think so what we're trying to do is, it's not like millions of people will view it, but what we hope is that maybe people like you and me, like they see it and they go, oh, I'd like to be part, like that's something that I would like it's small enough. Like sometimes things are very big and it's not that. So I don't know. But anyway, I love you all so much. I really do. I think the next live will be in the new year, and Pat's actually will do the same. I think we'll do the same. We'll open the new year one up as well. So we'll open up the new year one, and then we'll go back to February will be angels. So that's what we'll do. So I'll let you know where the new year one, and we'll do that one from Mexico. Okay. So that'll be, we get back on the 14th of January. So it'll be one of the Sundays before then. The Sunday after New Year, I imagine. Whatever that is. Okay. All right, my darlings. I love you so much. Amanda, it was so awesome to see you after knowing you on Instagram and Facebook for so long. So to actually see you in person. The other thing I love about this is get to see you and hear you. Deb Johnson, I just love you, girl. Right back at you. Karen, sweetheart, really, really so happy that you got to join us. Abby Sundry, oh my gosh, designer Sundry look amazing. I see 2020 just being like fucking blowing open for her. So there we go. All right, my lovelies, I'm going to end this recording. We will put the meditation up should you wish to go through it again. Until then, I love you so much.
I love you.